Because we've trailed this with the audience. We said, who is this man? Of course, it is Rupert Lowe. And JL Partners did a poll of 2,000 people, Carol, and 86% of the public and even 71% of Reform voters didn't know who he was.
I know that because he's big on Twitter. I see him on Twitter.
Very popular on Twitter.
He's very popular on Twitter. But Nigel Farage is Reform. It's a busted flush without him, and that is a fact. And whether you love him or whether you loathe him, he is one of the most influential and consequential politicians of the 21st century. And all this nonsense now. Rupert Lowe wants to be leader, and the bottom line is Farage. And I've campaigned with Farage. I'm not with him, but I've been reporting his campaign trail, and I've seen what he does with all classes of people, from all ages of people. He's like he draws them in like the Pied Piper. Rupert Lowe is a stinking rich ex-banker, super rich guy.
So he's Farage.
No, he's not on Lowe's level, and he's in the hunting, shooting, fishing brigade. He does not connect with people the way Nigel Farage does, and that's a fact.
And it clearly hasn't affected them in the polls as well. All of this.
Well, look, we'll see. We'll see. How the row develops and if it has cut through, so to speak, in the polls. I think it's a terrible look generally for 20% of a parliamentary political party to sort of be sort of slamming the leader and then sort of to be immediately sort of kicked out. That's not a good look. And infighting is never popular with the people. But the whole thing is quite. First of all, it's quite an entertaining story when there's so much serious stuff happening in the world. But it's also quite a salutary tale because Reform has not had that much scrutiny, particularly since the election. Partly because obviously the emphasis has been on Labour. The emphasis has been on the Labour government and obviously the Tories flatlining. But now, when you have a party that positions itself as being a government in waiting, which I'm very sceptical about, but let's say if the polls are correct, whatever, then that does attract scrutiny. And because you are starting from such a low base of 5 MPs, those MPs have far disproportionate power.
Why do you think they've suspended Lowe? Because Farage wants to make Reform a serious party, and he knows that some of the stuff that Rupert Lowe puts out, like deporting, mass deportation of all migrants, that is not a serious solution. And Farage has said, he's made very clear statements about it. He said we must not isolate all of Islam, all Muslims. We must not condemn it all, because he's trying to make Reform a serious party.
That's not why he kicked him out. It's because he criticised it. It wasn't because
No. Yeah, but let's be factually accurate. The suspension was because of the bullying allegations.
3 months
still being investigated.
I'm sorry.